The mystery car was a new VW Passat.
Europe and Japan have very different experiences with the motor car. In the land of the rising sun, the roads are very, very busy. And in some areas, you can't buy a car unless you can prove you have a parking space.
So Japanese town cars are small and they've got lots of extras to help cope with all those hours spent in the traffic jams.
In Europe, although we have the odd crowded road, there's an enormous network of fast highways and a motor sporting tradition in this country, which means performance and road holding are valued, whatever the size of car.
So in this week's group test, we're comparing some European and Japanese approaches to small urban cars.
You might find this shape familiar, but this is the limited edition Renault Clio Williams.
Also in the European corner, the fastest Peugeot 106, the Rally.
The Japanese solution replaces power with economy. The Subaru has only a 658cc engine.
And this imported Daihatsu Mira has just as small an engine, but it's full of surprises.
Although there's no direct involvement from the Williams racing team, a bit of that Formula One glory does rub off on this car, the Clio Williams. The cockpit's bathed in the blue shades of the team's racing colours, and there's a gold plaque on the dashboard proclaiming that this is one of just 5,000 made to commemorate Renault's involvement with the great Grand Prix team. This is number 169. Only 400 were imported into the UK, and they've nearly all gone. So if Renault decide against a second edition of Williams's, how badly will you have missed out?
Well, it's the most powerful Clio. Its 150 brake horsepower puts even the mighty 16 valves 137 in the shade. The ride and taut suspension is aimed at the sports car enthusiast. And yes, it could be a collector's item.
But is it value for money? To keep the cost around the same as the Clio 16 valve, Renault have stripped a list of features. Things like the sunroof and their brilliant remote control radio, and also the adjustable steering wheel, which I think is essential in a sporty car like this to get that perfect driving position. In the last series, I drove the Clio 16 valve when it was launched. I liked it then, and even with the changes, I like it now. The Clio 16 valve's an enormous pleasure to be in, even when the car's stationary. It's comfortable, it's airy, though the headroom could be better, and everything's really well finished. It doesn't have that flimsy French feel that the old Renault 5s used to have. There are some nice touches, like this split sun visor here. Clio Williams gets you to 60 in 7.8 seconds, exactly the same as the 1.8-litre Clio 16 valve, and of course the 2-litre engine drinks more fuel. That, plus the fact that you'll soon be able to get the 16 valve in the new generation shape with a higher spec. And you start to wonder whether Williams is really worth it, just for 8 miles an hour extra top speed.
After all, the list price is £13,275, and you'll have to pay the price for performance with a high insurance group too.
This is a car built for racing and the urban sprint when you get half a chance. The limited edition is available only in metallic blue with these gold wheel trims. Very stylish. That Williams blue trim is on everything, even down to the top of the gear knob. But I can't help thinking that this whole look, inside and out, could date very quickly.
For £4,000 less than the Williams, here's another European urban runner with a very clear personality. The Peugeot 106 range has been a huge success, and it is the latest in that range, the Rally. The 100 brake horsepower 1.3-litre engine means this is the most powerful 106 you can buy. And apart from stiffening up the suspension and making styling changes, Peugeot haven't felt it necessary to make substantial alterations to the basic 106 XSI. I'm not a great lover of white cars, but the 106 shape works really well, although the Rally is available in blue and red too. The steel-pressed wheels and the graphics give the outside a good sporty impression. Inside, it's a little loud with white painted panels, red carpets and red seat belts, but why not? The 106 Rally has two distinct characters, and that's not a criticism. It's an excellent urban runaround, and when you hit 4,000 revs, it really comes alive as a sporty hatchback. It corners impressively, it really grips the road. This is no Clio Williams, but neither is the price. Under £9,000 and you'll enjoy the perfectly acceptable urban MPG of 29.7.
If the Peugeot Rally and the Clio Williams are among the hottest thing on the European bloc, then the story from Japan is very different. The Williams, remember, delivered 150 brake horsepower. This little Vivio gives just 43 from its 658cc engine. You have to change gear constantly with very little increase in road speed, but it's perfectly adequate for the urban crawl. It's a car really for the driver who's happy to sit in lane and just get there. Headroom's good and it's fairly spacious with a control panel that's nice and easy to use. The interior trim though is overall very disappointing. Spartan plastic with a very thin drab feel to it, and I'm a bit worried about the quality of this seat fabric. For £6,700 almost, I begin to wonder whether the money wouldn't be better spent on a nearly new Fiesta or Metro with comparable fuel economy. There is, however, one unique feature to the Subaru.
Suddenly, the Vivio becomes four-wheel driven. So if you're a cautious motorist who wants to increase the adhesion on slippery surfaces, this could be just the ticket. And if money's tight, the Subaru will give you 42 miles per gallon with a low insurance grouping.
The engine sounds quite refined and sound shielded, unlike many small cars. This light steering's a boon around town as well, along with the fact that this tiny vehicle can squeeze in and out of gaps that most other cars just couldn't manage. Except Minis, of course. But the Subaru's 8 inches longer than a Mini, which means that it's much more comfortable on the legroom, and if anything, the manoeuvrability is superior.
The Daihatsu Mira is a car that should be worrying a lot of European manufacturers. The UK version wasn't exactly popular, but we brought this model in from Japan to see just how the future of urban motoring may look. Japanese legislation restricts the size of engine and body, but Daihatsu have come up with a car that has many startling proposals. Outside, you'll notice this is a company flirting with the latest technology. Switching wipers on and off in light drizzle is very boring. So there's a rain sensor, which automatically operates the wipers for you. And gadgetry comes to the rescue in the light department. If you forget to put your lights on when the sun goes down, the darkness sensor will do that for you. But it's the engine which is really astonishing. A tiny 659cc unit which can get you to 60 in 8 seconds. Yet at 56 miles an hour, fuel consumption has been measured at 62 miles to the gallon. The engine gives great performance. Generally, road holding is excellent, but because the steering is so incredibly light, the front wheels could take on a life of their own if you're not careful. But it's great fun to tootle around town in traffic, and on the motorway, it's surprisingly quiet and robust. This import version of the Daihatsu Mira is not the perfect solution to urban motoring, but it does show that the Japanese are taking these problems really seriously.
The Subaru Vivio is very much the urban Mini. Take a good look at it if you're a conservative driver who values manoeuvrability over power and who doesn't need a car to cope with motorways more than once in a blue moon.
The Peugeot 106 Rally gives you a choice of a comfortable ride around town or a more sporty drive when you eventually clear the traffic.
But it was all a bit one-sided. The star performer this week was inevitably the Clio Williams.
With all the limited editions virtually accounted for, Renault have hinted there could be more cars with the same spec released soon. But don't expect a brass plaque or gold wheels.
It's winner, brand new Vauxhall Frontera Sport time once more. But before we get to question 3, here are the rules again. Every week for 7 weeks, we'll be asking a question about the Motorshow.
We've already asked 2 questions. If you don't have the answers, find a friend with a video and be nice to them.
Write down all your answers and keep them somewhere safe.
So your nice friend won't nick them.
Then in the 7th week, we'll give you details on where to send your entry. And if yours is the first correct set of answers we pull out of the bag, then this is what you could win.
The Vauxhall Frontera Sport is equipped for on- and off-road use with selectable four-wheel drive, powered by the same 2-litre engine as the Calibra. Standard equipment includes power steering, sunroof, stereo radio cassette and large section all-weather tyres. There's a year's warranty and a 1-day off-road training course is included.
7 correct answers and you could be the proud owner. Here's question number 3.
How many cars are there in the Motorshow's title sequence? That's how many cars are there in our opening titles.
And we'll be back in the next programme with question 4.
Eating along the rolling highway, singing the song to the rhythm of the moon. The sun's in the sky, a heaven aglow, the world dashes by. You sing the song happy when you're sweet.
You may well be wondering what this is all about.
Singing the song to the rhythm of the moon. You'll never be late if it's a V8 when you're speeding along to the rhythm of the moon.
It's a sing-along commercial from the 30s for the Ford V8 Pilot. It captures the mood of a long-gone age when motoring was innocent fun. Can you imagine these days singing the praises of your car stuck in a motorway tailback?
In all kinds of weather, as light as a feather it seems.
Come on, join in and sing along. 2, 3, 4.
In next week's Motor Show.
Discover what's in and what's out of fashion among Beverly Hills millionaire collectors.
And an exclusive Motor Show preview of the backroom secrets behind Toyota's IndyCar bid.
If you would like more details on what you've seen in the Motor Show, send a large stamped addressed envelope to The Motor Show, Granada Television, Manchester M60 9EA. That's The Motor Show, Granada Television, Manchester M60 9EA. The Motor Show, driven by Auto Express magazine.